Good day. Here are the headlines from the Philippine News Agency. We start the newscast with the government's response to Mount Kanlaon's eruption. The Department of Social Welfare and Development assures it has enough family food packs to distribute in regions affected by the recent eruption of Kanlaon volcano. DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian said President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has directed the agency to ensure that all families receive help. The DSWD chief is also in constant communication with local officials in the affected towns to prepare for any eventualities. Aside from food packs, the DSWD is ready to provide other forms of assistance to help those livelihoods disrupted by the disaster. A mobile command center was also deployed in Negros Oriental to provide internet connection, large power banks, and 2 sets of generators for communities near the volcano. As of Monday night, about 40,000 family food packs have been transported to Negros Island. Meanwhile, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology said Kanlaon may still erupt despite having calmed down. Chief Science Research Specialist Mariton Borna says as of Tuesday, the volcano is quietly degassing and producing weak, low-frequency earthquakes. She, however, says Kanlaon may still have phreatic or steam-driven explosions as long as it shows unrest. As of this morning, Phivolcs has recorded 53 volcanic wakes and a sulfur dioxide flux of 4,113 tons per day from the volcano. It emitted a volcanic plume 2,000 meters tall and its edifice remains inflated. Kanlaon has not shown further violent behavior since Monday's eruption. Shifting gears now, following a slight uptick in country's headline inflation in May, the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA says there is no let-up in the government's efforts against persistent inflation drivers. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, headline inflation slightly accelerated to 3.9% in May this year from 3.8% in April. Inflation in May last year, however, was higher at 6.1%. To help manage food inflation, NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan said the NEDA board has agreed to reduce the rice duty rate to 15% from 35% for both in-quota and out-quota imports until 2028. He has the Department of Social Welfare and Development and relevant agencies will fully implement the food stamp program nationwide in July, covering 1 million households by 2027 from the initial 300,000 families in 10 regions. In a briefing, PSA Undersecretary and National Statistician Dennis Mapa says last month's higher inflation was primarily due to the increase in the index of the housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels at 0.9% from 0.4% in April 2024. Mapa says the faster annual growth of the transport index at 3.5% in May 2024 from 2.6% in April also contributed to the uptrend. In a separate statement, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas says the latest inflation data aligns with its projection that inflation could temporarily accelerate above the 2 to 4% target range due to adverse weather conditions affecting agricultural output and positive base effects. The BSP, however, said that the average inflation will return to the target range this year and in 2025. The government is targeting a 29 peso per kilo of rice for the poor, according to Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Arsenio Balisacan. This comes following the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA board's approval of the new comprehensive tariff program for 2024 to 2028, which includes direct subsidies. The program cuts tariff rates on corn, pork, and mechanically deboned meat to ensure a stable supply of these commodities until 2028. It also retains a tariff cover for various other agricultural products including sugar, onion, shallots, garlic, broccoli, carrots, cabbage, lettuce, sweet potatoes, cassava, coffee substitutes, complete feeds, and feed preparations. NEDA said the move will help manage inflation, promote policy stability and investment planning, and enhance food security. The program was approved in Tuesday's 17th NEDA board meeting in Malacanang, presided by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. as chairperson. With the reduced tariff rates, Balisacan says prices of said commodities like rice will be reduced significantly. The comprehensive tariff review is conducted every 5 years.
We are at least aiming for, the Department of Agriculture is aiming for a reduction of to 29 pesos per kilo, at least for the poor, because we will complement this tariff reduction with direct subsidies to the poor and vulnerable, so that at least they could access the food at 29 pesos per kilo. But overall, with the tariff reduction from 35 to 15%, everybody will benefit from that.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board urged operators and drivers of unconsolidated public utility jeepneys or PUJs to call off their planned 3-day transportation strike. In an interview, LTFRB Chair Teofilo Guadis III says all unconsolidated PUJs are considered quorum after the April 30 deadline. He also warns that those who would join the strike could face appropriate charges for causing public inconvenience. Transport Group Manibela announced on Tuesday another strike from June 10 to 12 to protest the alleged harassment of their members by personnel of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority and the Department of Transportation. Guadis, however, says that this transport strike is not new, as groups like Manibela have been doing this when facing sectoral issues. He also clarified that recent hearings at the House of Representatives on the PUV Modernization Program and PUJ consolidation are just proposal, with one lawmaker proposing a 1-year extension for single franchise jeepney operator. The LTFRB also assures commuters there will be enough public transportation during this strike. They are also prepared to deploy free rides. The Philippines is celebrating the 126th Independence Day this year with a 3-day festival highlighting a new Bagong Pilipinas experience. The Presidential Communications Office announced the events taking place from June 10 to 12 at the Rizal Park Burnham Green right across the Carino Grandstand. The Pilipinas Obstacle Sports Federation will hold Ninja Warrior competitions that will test the athleticism, bravery, grit, and perseverance of challengers from all ages and groups. The Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA and the Department of Agriculture will hold the Filipino Cocina Warrior, where select student cooks will compete for the best adobo and pancit. The Chili Federation will also challenge chili pepper lovers in the Atapang Atao Labuyo eating contest. Meanwhile, national artist for dance Alice Reyes will hold a concert on June 10 at the Burnham Green, while local bands will perform hit Filipino songs at the Musikalayaan. The public may also watch film showings and avail of medical and government services under the Pampamahalaang Programa at Servisyo Caravan. On June 12, the Parada ng Kalayaan will relive the events that highlighted the country's struggle for liberty. The parade will feature 22 floats from various provinces and national government agencies. The National Historical Commission of the Philippines called on Filipinos to join and follow the celebrations using the hashtag Kalayaan 2024. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, please visit our website, pna.gov.ph, or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account, via the News and Information Bureau website at ib.gov.ph under PNA News, or on the Facebook page of the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO. I am Marita Muahe, and this is the Pna Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.